Democrats certainly do not trust Republicans in the state of Texas. And if you've been with us for the past week, you saw this coming. It was a week ago today. We spoke with James Talarico, and I can't remember the last time we heard as much about an interview here on Bloomberg. This is the Democratic lawmaker in the state of Texas who did Joe Rogan and then really blew up when he did BOP here, Bloomberg. A pastor, the former teacher, now lawmaker, who many see as a future star, a rising star in the Democratic Party. That's why his face is on all these stories about Texas redistricting. But he's far from the only lawmaker who has decided to leave town. Remembering, this is about quorum. Texas House can conduct business only when 2/3 of its 150 members are present. So as Republicans move to redraw the map and create new Republican seats in the state to help Republicans keep their majority in the House, Democrats say, let's get out of Dodge. Because if you don't have the right number of people, you can't move forward with the redistricting. Now, this is going to end probably at some point because, as Julie Fine's going to tell us in a couple of minutes, the governor, Greg Abbott, could just keep doing special sessions as long as he wants. And at some point, you need to come home. We talked to James Talarico about the prospect, because this is very controversial, the prospect of them leaving the state in the face of this action. Here's what he told us on Bloomberg.
We've had to figure out how to use every tool in our toolbox, whether that's the rules, whether it's our platforms, or whether it is denying quorum. That's obviously a dramatic step, and it's one that shouldn't be taken lightly. My Democratic colleagues and I are willing to do whatever it takes to stop this power grab and to protect the democratic process here in Texas and around the country, because if President Trump succeeds with this power grab in Texas, I worry that he will do the same thing in every red state across the country.
Well, hold your horses. Again, that was a week ago today. They have pulled the trigger, heading for 3 different locations: New York, Boston, and in the case of Mr. Talarico, Chicago, where, by the way, the governor is standing by here not to miss an opportunity. Pretty interesting how this is going, because everybody's got something to gain here, potentially. The governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, is providing logistical support and is reportedly considering giving them some cash to pay for fines that they're now facing in Texas. If you're with us here on YouTube, look at the backdrop behind Governor Pritzker as he's speaking. Let's watch and listen.
Trump came up with a new scheme, rig the system, by ramming through a corrupt mid-decade redistricting plan that would steal 5 congressional seats, silencing millions of voices, especially Black and Latino voters. Let's be clear, this is not just rigging the system in Texas. It's about rigging the system against the rights of all Americans.
Noting the campaign logo on the backdrop behind him. I've got to bring in Julie Fine. Our Texas bureau chief has been awfully busy on this for the last week, and she joins us now from our Dallas bureau. Julie, what's the thought here? These lawmakers are all going to be fined $500 a day is what we're learning. What else can you tell us?
Well, they're going to be fined $500 a day, but you just talked about this, Joe. It appears there will be money. I mean, clearly donors have some interest in this. This goes well beyond Texas. However, a quorum break means everybody has to stay together. You have to stay and continue on with this to deny the amount for a vote. Last time in 2021, when lawmakers walked out over a voting bill, they were out, I believe, 38 days. This session only has 2 weeks left. But, Joe, as you pointed out very astutely, Governor Abbott can just continue to do these over and over and over again. So he did that 2 years ago. That was regarding school choice. I think they had 3 to 4 sessions, and eventually it passed this session. So it'll be very interesting. I do like how you pointed out, though, everybody has something here. You talk about Governor Pritzker. He's talked about that in his own state. Governors in New York and California discussing it in their own. These lawmakers are going to be busy visiting different places. But at the end of the day, the bottom line here is Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, and they have the numbers.
Well, you know, you can add Kathy Hochul here. Look at the governor of New York, Julie, because a good chunk of these lawmakers went to New York as well. And she, of course, not to miss an opportunity, was out early in front of cameras and microphones. Here's Kathy Hochul.
To refuse to stand up and fight for our democracy as we are joining in solidarity with our friends from Texas means one thing. You won't fight for democracy, you're doomed to lose it. If Republicans are willing to rewrite these rules to give themselves an advantage, then they're leaving us no choice. We must do the same. There's a phrase, you have to fight fire with fire. That is a true statement of how we're feeling right now.
All right. Didn't Gavin Newsom use the fight fire with fire? The fact of the matter is California is considered a more likely candidate here to follow in the steps of Texas if, in fact, they redraw the lines. New York would be a little bit more difficult. But how long can they stay away here, Julie? I think we've established that it's impossible for them to run out the clock. Are they just raising money?
Well, they can stay away for as long as they remain a unit. But you're talking about the middle of the summer. Joe, somebody might have a child getting married. Somebody may have something going on in Texas. It's interesting, as you see, and we saw it really in 2021. The longer it goes on, the question becomes who breaks the quorum break. So you have to really work to keep this group together. But I do also want to point out the difference between 2021 and now is that in 2021, Democrats actually had 5 more seats. So now they have fewer to lose in order to get those numbers. So it really holds for as long as they can hold it together. However, I will say this, there's much more national attention on it this time around.
Yeah, okay.
Due to the fact of the other
states
in redistricting.
Sure, this could be a massive story. We're talking about the rest of the year if other states get involved. But I'm just curious quickly, Julie, locally, are people talking about this at the diner? Is this like office talk or is this for political wonks?
You know, Joe, you and I often talk about this when it comes to inflation. Are people talking about what's going on in Washington? Yeah. People are talking about this here locally. Reason being, there is a lot of other issues. There are a lot of other issues on the call for the agenda in the Texas special session. That includes flooding. So, yes, this is one that's actually getting a lot of local attention for that reason.